Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here to review Hell's Kitchen, Season 22, Episode 5. Now, before I start the review, I should mention I did try 2 of Chef Gordon's frozen Walmart meals, and Safi and I did a review. And, you could tell how pissed off we were by how we were in that video. Like, it shows. Like, when you don't like something, it really actually affects when you do the video. It kind of makes you act accordingly, I should say. And but it's going to be really hard, like, watching anything with Gordon Ramsay anymore, because based on those meals, like, wow. Like, I don't know what he was thinking with those meals. Like, I guess it was a good idea, but it was a really bad execution. Let's just say that. It's definitely nowhere near the best fish and chips or shepherd's pie that I've had. And we will also be reviewing all the other meals in the coming weeks, so look forward to that. Now, this episode, let's start off with the men's team are in complete denial about Jason. And they started off the episode by pretending like Mateus should have still been there instead of Jason. And I thought, like, guys, just because you don't like Jason doesn't mean he automatically should have gone home instead of the guy who made mistakes enough to go home. Like, that was totally, like, kind of bizarre. Like, I guess they're going to continue to be in denial about that, though. And, nobody really likes Jason, which actually, now I kind of like him, because I feel like maybe he's just pushing his personality for television. And I feel like after seeing him doing consistently good work for the most part in these episodes, that I'm actually, like, starting to like him more, and then be like, WTF, why does everyone hate him so much just because he's weird and awkward and he makes cringe jokes. Mother of 6 attacks Jason too, and then she brought the entire women's team in to respond to a comment that he made about her, and all I could think of was, like, God, that was like a Mean Girl type of thing. Like, oh, I'm a mean girl, and I'm gonna get my whole Mean Girl group from high school to come in and bully you. Like, that was really cringeworthy, honestly. Like, and then he gets up and he goes to bed and he's like, I don't like drama. Which I wonder if he's actually serious about that, because he's made a lot of really inflammatory comments that would provoke drama. Like, especially when he was with the women's team doing that punishment, and he kept on telling them what to do. Like, that wasn't a smart choice. Now, the women compete in a surf and turf guessing game. Meh. At least Carmen was able to use her mental gymnastics to get an answer right. And she actually did. Believe it or not, like, she was in the confessional and she was, like, working through her head like she's doing the gymnastics. Like, yeah, I'm figuring it out. And, she actually was able to work out the correct answer. And boom. As I said, she's really good too, especially her wings. She is the queen of mental gymnastics in a good way. Jason, and now the men had to do it too, after the women. They had to try to beat the women's time. Jason chose mussels first for his answer for one of the dishes. And then instead of choosing oysters as a replacement for that, he chose something else, and that was really weird, because, like, if you thought it was mussels, okay, what's something that's close to mussels? Oysters, like another shelled thing. Like, that was a very weird thing that he didn't automatically go to oysters. And then another team, when they were trying to guess the dish the meats on the surf and turf dish. They didn't even know really what surf and turf was. Like, they were getting really confused and picking like 2 meats or 2 fishes, whatever, and that was kind of odd. But the men's team won, and then Jason and his team was the last, his duo, was the last one to kind of cement that victory. And then the men got to throw axes as a prize, which is hilarious because it's another reward where I knew that Gordon designed it specifically for them. Like, would women really be into axe throwing? Like, it would be fun, regardless, but like that was another challenge award where I was like, Gordon totally knew that the men were going to win that challenge because the women, their team is very, very fractured and splintered, just like I predicted from episode 1 and on. And so, yeah, and he got his prediction right. And I felt really bad for the women's team, though, because Sammy, she started crying. Like, actually crying. Because she was not doing a good job with the salmon. They all had to do stuff with the salmon and cut the fillets out or something. And that was really sad to watch. Like, she was full on crying. And then also Leigh, who is also like another Heather Graham lookalike, she had like a sad face like this whole episode. Like, I think that she always has a sad face. It kind of reminds me of like a sad clown. And so like the whole vibe was like really sad. And then the men's team predicted that the women's team would lose because they've lost all these challenges and they're just not a team. And I was like, yep, that's what's going to happen. That's unfortunate as it is. That's what's going to happen. And then Melissa, she is in her own world, basically, and it's really a bad choice for her. Like, look, even though I would say that the women's team is really bad this season, that's not an excuse to be in your own world and just do your own thing and just not care. Like, that's crappy. I did that one time, and I think I've already told the story before, but it was just for a stupid little project anyway, for a filler class in senior year of high school, and it was just me and another guy, and we had to do a presentation about a futuristic invention, and we chose to do self-tying shoes, even though, obviously that's already been done before. We just thought, like, that is genuinely a great idea, and we don't know why it hasn't been done yet. And he literally just refused to work on the project, and he just sat there, like, talking to other people, and so I had to do all the work. And then next day, we did the presentation, and I just kind of, like, I purposefully sabotaged, and then I did a really bad job on purpose. It was really hilarious, actually, because he was literally standing there like, WTF is going on? He was looking around at the whole class in like embarrassment and confusion, and it was so funny, and I totally like just screwed him over. But that was that still, with Hell's Kitchen though, this was not a good choice to do that here. That was not the right time to do that. With my thing in that speech class, that was totally the right thing to do. And guess what? I still got a B+ on the project, or a B-, I can't remember. So it was worth it, fucking him over. He was a jackass too. He was like Jason, but actually a jackass, like really, really bad. And then he says, Melissa says, everyone thinks they're all-stars, but we all suck right now. And it's like, yeah, I wonder why, Melissa. And then for the 4th time, lobster is raw. First thing in service from the women's kitchen, or just from the kitchen in general. They had some bad scallops, but they also had raw lobster. So that's yet again tisk tisk with the lobster. One thing I thought that was really cool, though, of Chef Gordon to do was that he gave the axe throwing champion a really cool blender. And I thought that that was a really nice thing of him to do that, just for, winning this fun little challenge for the punishment. I mean, not for the punishment, but for the competition award. See, I'm going so fast with these reviews that like I'm screwing things up sometimes. So sorry about that. And Jason made a great risotto. And see, once again, like Jason's doing a great job, pretty great job, and he does not deserve to go home like they said he deserved to go home. And meanwhile, a lot of people struggled with scallops and fish in general this episode. Silent Sandra, I think she's really cool, and I like her a lot. Well, she made what she's called sexy scallops, and she took them up there, and it was like, no, they were overcooked. And once again, I thought, though, like, even though they're overcooked, they look good to me. They look very good to me. But then again, I haven't had scallops a lot, so maybe if they were really rubbery like he said they were, then they wouldn't be so sexy, would they? And then Melissa, she does not care. And I thought that this was the quote of the episode. It was such an awful quote. It was such a big F you to Gordon and everyone there. Melissa said, "I don't have to get a gold star in the kitchen service. Gordon knows what's up because I do good in challenges." Oh, God. Melissa. Oh, God, that is stupid. That is just stupid, Melissa. Why would you say that? That is just terrible. Like, no one wants to be on a team with someone like that. Oh, gross. Like, that is... That... And then the men overcooked and undercooked beef Wellingtons because they were wrapping them in foil for some odd reason. Gordon never told them to do that. I thought that was another weird thing that they did. That I don't understand why they aren't doing what Gordon taught them to do. They're kind of doing their own thing, like Master Chefs. As I said, Master Chef's Kitchen is what I call this season. And Gordon did something funny where he told the Cuban guy to go outside and look at the Hell's Kitchen sign and take a breath. I thought it was unfortunate. I don't think we got to see that. We didn't get to see him actually outside looking at the sign, because I thought that would have been a hilarious visual. Especially when the Cuban guy is definitely going to get sent home at one point. And when he does, I just can't wait to see him like pass the sign and then look at it again or something. Like, that'd be really funny. And I can't remember this woman's name, but she did the really good fusion dish from the first episode, I believe. She said Melissa is just a Debbie Downer. And I thought that is the perfect, like, I was calling Melissa Miss Lamb or something like that, but Debbie Downer is such a perfect nickname for her, and it's just so sad what ended up happening. But as predicted, the women's team failed miserably, and they did complete service though, which is good. Silent Sandra and Debbie Downer were nominated, and the Mother of Six was close to being nominated, which it was funny because, the whole comment that Jason made was that her team doesn't like her, and then she was very close to being nominated to be sent home. So, it actually showed that, he's right, her team didn't like her at all, and because they wanted to nominate her, almost. And predictably, the Debbie Downer was sent home after she blatantly lied. And she said that she believed in her team, but her team didn't believe in her. I thought, you know what? It's one thing to just be in your own world and not care, but it's another thing for you to just blatantly lie and say that you believed in your team That was total bullshit. I did not like that at all. I was so happy that Chef Gordon sent her home because I really hated her attitude, and I don't like her anymore. But at least she got to use her punishment pass. Like that would have sucked. Like, do you think that Chef Gordon would have given that punishment pass to someone else if she got sent home without ever using it? Because that would have been totally sad. Like if no one ever got to use the punishment pass this season. And the grade I would give this episode is a B plus. I didn't feel it was as strong as last week's episode because again I just feel like the women's team is full of all this really beautiful talent and really nice, amazing talent, but they're just such a bad team that it's kind of depressing to watch. As I said, like a lot of them have sad faces all the time, and they're really down in the dumps, and it's it's kind of depressing. But at the same time, it is very fun to watch still. So I give it a B plus. And I can't wait to see next week because I can't wait to see Jason continue his reign of terror and making me be like, oh my god, I actually think he's cool now. That's surprising. I never thought that would happen. And then also, at the end of the episode, Chef Gordon said that he is still asking himself up in his office, who's going to start sticking out as a front runner? And it's like, see, even Chef Gordon knows that all these guys are like master chefs. Even Gordon knows. I thought that was very telling. But I do think that that's kind of disingenuous for him to say a little bit, because you're telling me that Sammy doesn't stick out? Really? Because she sticks out to me a lot in many ways. Carmen sticks out. Jason sticks out. Other people kind of stick out sometimes. Sandra, Silent Sandra's really cool, but she needs to, I don't know, get her act together a little bit in the services at least. And yeah. Well, actually, and the Fusion Girl from episode 1, she's starting to stick out real good. She's starting to be like the head honcho of the kitchen. I really hope that she tries to take control of the team, because again, like the women's team, they are just heading straight for total failure this season, to the point of where I think that it in a few episodes, maybe next episode, that Chef Gordon is going to be like, okay, never mind, we're going to mix teams together because this is just too disastrous. And I know that might be like a bold thing to say will happen, but I feel like if I were Chef Gordon, I would do that myself, because their team is having such a bad time, and I really feel like maybe it's for the best that you would mix up the teams so that at least some of these women would have a fighting chance, since they are the more talented ones there over the men. So anyways, please like this video and comment and tell me what you thought of the episode. I know that everything I said probably wasn't 100% accurate. In fact, who knows? Like, and just because I said that I was starting to like Chef Jason, that probably means that next week he's going to be sent home or something, because that's what always happens. Like, every time I start to like a contestant on a cooking show, that's always when they get sent home. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to continue seeing Hell's Kitchen reviews. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.